develop a diplomacy policy, we will not attract as much as other countries attract from us. We will not even, however much we pay our staff abroad, the focus, like Ambassador Philip says, if you don't understand the focus, we will not be able to attract development back home. So for me, if the committee supports me, that will be the most urgent thing to do, so that when we are planning for Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we are planning for that sector.
Misused for other purposes, and in that very situation, the administrative Watachi, I think he occupied the housing facility for the ambassador at the end of the mission. Now, my question to the PS and maybe the ministry as a whole could be that what are some of the institutional reforms that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has implemented across all Ugandan missions abroad to prevent such reoccurrences and such weaknesses, and also strengthen financial accountability and ensure compliance with the Vienna Convention on diplomatic relations and Uganda.
I represent the people of Uganda constituency. I actually have about 2 questions. The first one is in regard to the line of our citizens who are going out of the country and they end up being detained in so many prisons in different countries. Does the ministry know how many citizens we have in different detentions in different countries? If we know, what role is the ministry?
The embassies or the high commissions are going to be placed. For example, the Canadian mission that we have is in Ottawa, but we have more populated cities such as Toronto, Vancouver, and many others. And a lot of tourists come from these cities, a lot of businesses are headquartered in these cities. So why would we choose a place like Ottawa? Just for purposes of understanding. The second thing would maybe be to emphasize or stress. I am baffled when the PS mentioned that there are 20 investors from Beijing that wanted to come and invest in Uganda, but we don't have land available. Personally, coming from a business background, there is a lot of land that is being misused. And I think this is missed opportunity with the tenfold program. If we do not join hands and find ways, especially of bringing this investment.
We shall carry some copies of the ECD strategy. Now, Madam Chair, when we debated whether we do a policy or a strategy, and then we noted that whatever we're going to prepare would be informed by the Vision 2040, the NDP4, and indeed the tenfold strategy. So amongst ourselves, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Finance, we agreed that let us put together a strategy. And we developed an elaborate strategy that covers much of the issues that Ambassador Idro touched, and how we coordinate the whole of government to ensure that we get dividends in as far as ECD is concerned. So we request that you kindly look at our strategy, and then you advise whether indeed we should move towards a policy. But for now, the strategy is quite elaborate and it is working well, despite the challenges. Some of the challenges being access to land for the prospective investors that we are getting. Honorable Mr. So noted the discrepancies in missions and cited the 2019 incident. Indeed, that incident happened. And
issue of visas. I'm made to understand that I'll give an example of the US visa, Uganda visa scenario. Recently, the US has slapped a very heavy bond on Ugandans trying to travel to the US. I think it's now $20,000, even from 15. Why do we have to reach this point when we could have negotiated and collaborated at an earlier stage? Because visas coming to the US, visas from the US would be given a 3-month visa originally, but Uganda was issuing 3 months, but the US was giving us 2 years. How do we get around some of these technical issues? Because Ugandans are actually asking, because if you look at the development trajectory, the US is number 1, number 2 globally. So if Ugandans are being discouraged to get to the US because of bonds, which are very high, how is the Foreign Affairs Ministry going to deal with this dichotomy of cost? Number 2, we have geopolitical issues surrounding, and this goes to Ambassador Idro. Uganda runs more or less on another line trend of things. We are between China and the United States. We're friends to everybody, basically. So just give some exposition on the issue of strategic hedging and also strategic interests, because Uganda is able to work across the board. So I think for members to be very important for us to learn how Uganda does this very well. We stay focused, but we are working with Iran, we're working with the US, we're working with the Palestinians and also the Israelis. So it will be very interesting for us to know how this happens.